Welcome to Tech Talks. In this example, we shall look at how to plot scatter diagram and draw line of best fit. In our today's question or example is saying that the price of matoke is found to depend on the distance the market is away from the nearest town. The table below gives the average price or the average prices of matoke from markets around the Kampala. So we have distance D in kilometers, that is 40, 8, 17, 20, 24, 30, 28, 16, 36, and 10. Against the prices P in shillings, which is 120, 160, 140, 130, 135, 125, 130 again, and 145, 125, then 150. Those are our table having average prices P in shillings and distance D in kilometers. So this is how they are varying, or the prices of matoke are varying from the markets away from the nearest town. That town which we have used now is Kampala city. Then the first question is saying that plot this data on a scatter diagram, and the second part is saying that draw a line of best fit on your diagram. So even before we continue, first remember what a scatter diagram is, or what we say the scatter diagram is. The scatter diagram, we said that it is a graph that shows a relationship between two variables. What are those? Where are those variables? In this case, or in our case now, of this example, you are having variable one as distance, which is measured in kilometers, and variable two as price P, which is measured in shillings. So as you are going to draw scatter diagram, you say it is important to first identify which points are highest or is having highest data range that can fit on the vertical axis, and which one will have the smallest data range which can fit on the horizontal axis. So first study your points before you start plotting. Our solution, since a scatter diagram is a graph, then we shall have what we call axis, that is the vertical axis, and horizontal, axis. And then we first study our data points. Distance. The smallest data point in distance is 8, and the highest is 40. That one implies that the range between our data set of distance, or our variable distance, is 32. Then we come to price P. The smallest one is 120, and the highest is 160. So the range between those two is 40. So for my case, I can plot distance on the vertical, because this one now is giving me the smallest axis, or the smallest height, and I put my price P on the horizontal, because P is the longest when you compare my graph. But for your case, you can interchange P to be on the vertical, because the graph is having the longest side on the vertical, and D to be on the horizontal. So this one will become my D in kilometers, and then this one will become my P, which is standing for price in shillings. So we start. The smallest one is 8, and the highest is 40. So for my case, I think I can use 10, 10. It will fit on this part, which is the smallest. But for you can go ahead and then use 5. Since you know how to get the proper scale, use that knowledge and get the proper scale. Maybe you may end up using 5, 5, but for me I will use 10. So 10, I will decide to start from 0, and then 2 centimeters represent 10, another 2 centimeters, 10, that is 20, another 2 centimeters, 30, another 2 centimeters, 40. And then here, the smallest is 120. Also for me, I may decide to use 10, but using your knowledge, still first get the proper scale. So mine here will use 110. Since I'm using 10, 10, this one will become 120, 130, 140, 150, 160. So that one is our data set. Now we have now the vertical axis, which is distance in kilometers, and the horizontal axis, which is price in the shillings. And then we start plotting. We are going to plot 40 against 120. 40 against 120 will be somewhere here. You see where these 2 points will meet, the line going horizontally and the line coming vertically. Where they will meet will be the point for 140, and then we need 8. So we go back on the other issue which I told you, that whenever you finish determining the scale, make sure you get the scale for one small box. So for vertical, we have used the 10, which is the same as horizontal. So here we shall determine the one scale, which is that is 2 centimeters, which is representing 10. Then here there are 10 small boxes, which is representing 10. So one small box is representing 1. So implying that each one small box on our graph will be equating or is equivalent to 1. Then we start plotting. We are going to plot 8. We are starting from 0. So 8, we shall count 8 small boxes will be equivalent to 8. So here it is the 5th one because it is on the first centimeter. There we have the 3. That one maybe 1, 2, 3, and then you come here and then you plot against 160. You find that it is around here. Then that one become our point. Then we are plotting 17 against 140. 17 against 140 will be somewhere here. Then 140 is somewhere here. Then we have 20 against 20 against 130, 20 against 130 will be somewhere here. Then we have 24 against 135. 24 will be here. It is here, 135 in the middle of this 2. Then we have 30 against 125. 30 against 125 will be somewhere 120. Then 125 here. Then we have 28 against 130. 28 against 130. 28 will be somewhere here against 130, exactly above this. 20 against 130 is exactly above that one. Then we have 16, which is around here, against 16 against 145. 16, which is here, again it's slightly below 17. here against 145, and then we have 36, which is here against 125. 125, this one 36 will be exactly above this. Then the last one we have 10 against 150. 10 against 150. 10 will be slightly above this. So that's we are done with our plotting. There you get your marks for plotting scatter diagram as part 1 is saying. So you have finished plotting scatter diagram. Now drawing the line of best fit. You said you look at the trend of the data. What is the trend of the data? This trend of this data is decreasing. So you should not go ahead plotting line of best fit, which will give you, maybe let me say like this, which will give you this trend or this pattern that is positive, because for you are used to positive. You must plot depending on the types of depending on the pattern which your data is giving you. Don't stick on only the positive pattern. You should also take note that in any plotting you can even obtain negative graph or negative relationship. So you should not stick only on your positive relationship in the scatter diagram. If you see this pattern, it's showing that these graphs are in the negative side, or the points of distance. As distance is reducing, the prices are increasing. So that's why we are saying that this data is giving us negative gradient or negative correlation or negative relationship, because we say in a relationship where one data is increasing as the other one is reducing, the type of relationship we get there is what we are calling negative relationship. So we just need to look for line of best fit here, and then we draw our line of best fit such that it can divide these points. The one which will remain up are equal to those points which will remain down. So if you take note here, can see if you try to join this point, this point, this point, and this one, you will remain with 1, 2, 3, and then you remain with 1, 2, 3. Otherwise, these data points are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have plotted all the points. Then we are remaining with identifying our line of best fit. If you see this and this are out of range, they are side, and then where can we put our line of best fit such that it can fit the line. If you see this and this can go through these points and this one, but if you draw your point through this one, it will give you only 2 one side, and the other side you remain with 5, which is not correct. Go ahead and estimate which one. Let us try 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one can be joined. 1, 2, 3. This one is out of range. 4. Then they become many. So if you find out that where are we going to put our line of best fit? 1, 2. So 1, 2. This one can remain aside, and this one can remain aside. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, this one will work. So the data through this, then passing through this one, is our line of best fit. Leaving this point and this point out, and also this point and this point, plus this one out, going through 4, points. So this one come our line of best fit, then we have finished answering these questions. Thank you for viewing this video.